Welcome back to another episode of Uploaded and Unfiltered, the podcast in which I, your host Jermaine, interviews another content creator in regards to their journey thus far. Tonight, as always, I have a special guest, and after I read their bio, I'm going to introduce him and get him started on this conversation. RoninontheStickz is a U.S. Navy veteran and variety streamer based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He enjoys nice walks to Wingstop in his spare time. 80s baby, and been a fan of the gaming space and anime since before it was cool. Happy to be here. And with that, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest for the podcast, the one, the only RoninontheStickz, aka Ronin. How you doing? Welcome to the stream.
What's going on, everybody? RoninontheStickz, 8 times out of 10, your favorite Ronin on Twitch. True dig. Hope everybody's doing well.
Before we get any further, how many Ronins are on Twitch?
You know, I've never really counted.
Okay.
I came in on a very humble tip, and I was like, there's probably a billion Ronins out there. But if you come across me 8 times out of 10, I'm probably your favorite.
Exactly.
You know
Exactly. I like that. Well, I want to first and foremost thank you for doing a podcast with me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a while. So let me go ahead and start it off like I always do. How did you get started in content creation? What was the origin story of Ronin?
So boom, it's not really super. It's actually kind of crazy.
Okay.
Of course, let's say the year, I'm gonna guess 2014, 2015, right?
Gotcha.
That's when I discovered Twitch, and you know, I'm just a simple guy on my PlayStation 4, and saw this thing called Twitch, and I was like, well, what's that? You know, clicked on it and saw people going live and streaming their gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I watched a couple streams and I said, I'm better than them.
Yeah.
I'm funnier than that guy.
Yeah.
I was like, the conversations that we have privately, you know, when me and my gaming crew are way funnier than this. I was like, I can do this. So I'll never forget it. My very first stream was God of War 3 Remastered, right?
Okay.
And you're a streamer, so you know the very first time you stream, your voice might crack a little bit.
Yeah.
You're staring at the chat. You're concerned. And it's crazy. See, I started from playing on PS4, streaming on PS4, to eventually getting a PC set up, and humble beginnings kind of deal.
Yeah. All right, bet. So you just straight saw Twitch on the PlayStation and was like, you know what, let me check this out. And that confidence kicks in and you're like, yo, I'm better than this. I'm better than this. Yeah.
I can do this.
I love that. Yo, that's awesome that you had such a humble beginning. But now I'm going to throw in the trick question. Where'd the name come from?
RoninontheStickz?
Yeah.
So for the longest time, if you anybody who knows me knows I've been a weeb for the longest, right?
Yeah.
So my original Xbox 360 gamer tag was Soul of a Samurai, OG gamer tag.
Okay.
Right. So, and then I changed it to somewhere down the line. I changed it to, I think, Restless Ronin or something along those lines.
Gotcha.
And Ronin just kind of stuck. So everybody in our gamer circle started calling me Ronin. So I was like, cool. When you're gamer circle, like you might know somebody's actual name,
right?
But you call them by their tag first.
Exactly.
So I was just Ronin. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to stream on Twitch, what's my name going to be? Well, I'm always, on the game, around the way. It's like, hey, you getting on the sticks tonight? We win the game. So I'm like, RoninontheStickz. And I'm like, it's catchy. Like, brand name.
That's perfect.
So
I love that.
That's where it came from.
Hell yeah. Nice, simple, easy to get, easy to remember. Perfect. All right, man, we're going to go ahead and jump into our second section of the cast. This is where I ask my guests the current mindset in regards to their content right now. So, Ronin, what are your thoughts on not only your content, but what you see yourself doing like 6 months to a year from now?
Absolutely. So with content, it's always been a fun thing for me.
Yes.
I've always kind of prioritized my fun over kind of, I guess, public recognition. I'm very much I would rather have 10, 15 people active in the chat, joking, laughing with me than have a stream of 2, 3, 4, 500 people and nobody's talking. Or, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
That's probably been one of my pitfalls as well as a content creator. I've more so prioritized like having fun than I have actually like growing a brand. Now,
Gotcha.
Of course, if I had come into content creation with a completely different mindset, I would have, came in and made sure I checked all the right boxes and,
right.
Made myself. But I've always kind of prioritized, me having fun. So as of right now, I've kind of sort of slowed down with streaming, but I'm looking to pick back up.
Gotcha.
So I'm dabbling into, I guess growing within certain niches, because the way I look at it, when I look at like bigger streamers, they usually got big, not doing variety streaming, but off of one game. For your ninjas got big on Fortnite. That was his game. I watch Overwatch content creators, and everything they do is Overwatch. If they do something on another game, it's on the side, but you're still getting Overwatch. So, and this is just me outside looking in, but content creation as far as variety is fun, but you don't actually start growing until you specialize in one niche, and then you pull everybody in, and then those people are already along from the ride after the fact.
Exactly. You nailed it. I think when I too am a variety streamer, and you definitely see those spikes when you hit a game like Bloodborne 2 for me. Not only did that teach me that I like those type of games, but it taught me the power of having a game that everybody enjoys watching, because my numbers for that game were nuts. And I was like, what is going on?
Exactly. Because that's exactly what it is. Because I kind of did the same thing. I came into Bloodborne late. I was very much an anti-Soulsborne person.
Same.
But it was all off of reputation. I didn't like the reputation that it had. I didn't like the people who whatever. But once I played them myself, I loved them. But there are people who only watch Soulsborne content. So again, when I streamed Bloodborne, there were people in my chat, and of course I put first playthrough in there. So of course all the vets want to show up in, not necessarily backseat, but they want to watch somebody overcome for the first time, see that adrenaline rush. So yeah. So I figured with Twitch, there's usually two people, like there's usually two kinds of people. There are people that are there for that specific game, and then there are the people that will watch you regardless.
Yes.
You could be, watching nothing on YouTube or whatever, and they'll be there. But then there are the people that show up to see that specific game. And as soon as you stray off of that game, they're not there anymore.
Right. And I think that specific fact people need, like, especially new streamers, you got to know that, because those numbers will dip. And it's not you. That's the type of person there. And they're like, oh, you ain't playing this game? I'm gonna go to the next person playing this same exact game.
Exactly. You're chasing that high. I want to watch somebody else beat this boss for the first time like I did, So
man, you know what? I didn't mean to go down this route, but the thing you said about the reputation of the players of those Dark Souls-esque games. I was in the same boat. I would see how they would react and how like unruly they were, but like I was like, I don't want to be associated with that, so that game must be trash.
Right.
And once I started playing it, like I got to put my spin on that community, because I'm not like them. Like I'm me. And so while I was playing it, I was giving it my flavor, and that added to the other people coming in. They're like, oh, this dude is hilarious, and he's playing one of my favorite games, and that's how you get people to stay. And I think you do the same shit, because you started playing more, right?
Start playing what now?
You start playing like damn near all the blood, like Dark Souls games.
So I'm gonna let you know where I started. Again, very much anti-Soulsborne, based off of reputation alone. Oh, get good, all the stuff you hear on the internet, right?
Right.
Sekiro, Shadows Die Christ, and of course, me being a weeb, I was like, I'm gonna beat this game no matter what.
Yes,
because I know I can. I know I'm capable.
Right.
So I started the game, and I'm like, oh, this is tough, but it's fun. I'm having fun. Played through Sekiro, beat it, and I'm like, okay. Beat it twice, did New Game Plus and did the separate endings and everything.
Okay.
So I liked it. So after that, I went to Dark Souls 3.
All right.
And then I was, started getting into, that and getting into, and like you said, you put your own spin on it, because it's a build. You can put in Dark Souls 3 right now on Twitch and probably find upwards to 1,000 people watching it.
Easy.
Be it new runs, challenge runs, whatever. But you put your own spin on it, you put your own humor on it. You might introduce it to somebody in your group, and the people who watch you, and maybe I'll try it too.
Exactly.
And you just kind of roll, and you overcome. One of the things I do specifically with those Soulsborne games is I think out loud. Okay, I see this attack coming. Count it out. 1, 2, 3, roll. 1, 2, 3. So people who are watching my processing as I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So, and as a streamer, and of course as a streamer, let's say you're playing Apex, right? Complete game jump. Let's say you're playing Apex,
which I do.
and that's exactly what I'm using. I know you're an Apex guy.
Yeah.
When you lock into a gunfight and your hands got that little sweat on them, you're locked in. You're not talking. You're not whatever. But the more you play, the more comfortable you get.
Right.
You can narrate as you're doing it. I see where you're going. He's cutting to the left. I'm gonna cut here. Bam, knock. And then you're whatever, and your chat knows where your head's at. So it's very cool.
You just named one of my most enjoyable things to not only like witness but also do myself, is when you're playing a game especially I've been doing it in Tekken a lot because that game, goddamn. Anyway, so like you telegraph, you're like, I'm about to do this, this, and this, and that shit comes off, your chat goes nuts. You're like, yeah, I told you I was gonna do that. Like that's exactly I've been playing this game for a while. I love those moments. And I think that is a unique aspect of streaming that I don't think you can't get that in like a YouTube video or a TikTok.
Yeah. It's something you got to catch live. The energy is live. So yes, absolutely.
I'm glad to hear that you are jumping back into streaming because like you said, your streams are they're you. Like there's personality. You get to hear what you're thinking, and in turn, other people are learning some of the games they probably don't play. And so, like, I'm glad you're coming back.
Of course. I'm happy to be back. Sometimes life's a little bit.
Yes.
And it's a billion games out, and I'm playing things all across from different platforms.
Right.
But I stream on my PC primarily now. Like I said, I went from PS4 console streamer to playing on PC, and Final Fantasy Rebirth is out, Rise of the Ronin is out. Stuff is all over the place. So I'm kind of bouncing forth, figuring out what I want to play.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, man. Let's jump into the lessons learned section of the podcast.
Boy, oh boy.
What is a lesson that you've learned because you started creating content? And I can't even imagine where this is going because we've been doing this for a while. And I feel like the older you are, I'm not saying you're old, but we're older.
I'll tell you I'm old. And I always say it, especially people are like, oh, Ronin, you're not old. And, for the people who don't know me, I'm 39. I turned 39 this year in March, right?
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, in this gaming space, I am old.
Yes.
Like, I acknowledge that. I'm not saying, I'm, hobbling around on a cane.
Right.
But in the space of content creation, a lot of the people that you're watching are younger. They're, my first gaming PC, they're mid-20s. They're staying at home with mom and dad. They're like, they can focus 100% of their energy on this.
Right.
But, as a father, as, somebody who, has an active job, who tries to maintain some semblance of a social life, it's like, okay, I have 3 or 4 hours to stream, and then you have to be in the mood to stream. You have to be in the mood to entertain, because sometimes you just want to sit in a dark room and you want to play a game by yourself.
Yes, 100%.
In that regard, like, one of the main things as far as lessons learned, save time for you. Save time for you, because I know one thing I kind of struggle with is I have XYZ game, and I really want to play this on stream, but I want to, also kind of play it myself. Save a game for you. Yes. If you're going to, I'm going to play this game. Save a game that you're not going to play on stream. You're going to play it off stream, and you can just immerse and enjoy it. Everything does not have to be content. And I'm going to say that one more time, just in case anybody missed it. Everything does not have to be content. Save space for you as a person. You will thank yourself in the long run.
Hell, you just made the clip for the show. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and hit this highlight button. Remember? Yeah, I agree, man. Once I figured out, which sounds dumb in hindsight, but once I figured out that I could play a game off stream.
Yeah.
Bro, like, what did I play off stream? God of War. This is the last one that just came out. I'm like,
Ragnarok.
Yeah, I could play this on stream, but nah, I immersed. I put my little 3D headphones on. Oh my God, it was great.
Yes. And it's the same. I played on last year. I finally played the Dead Space remake, right? Huge fan of Dead Space. Huge fan of Dead Space. But I streamed through it. And one thing, and of course I played through the game, so I knew more or less the jump scares that were coming, right?
Yeah.
But when I tell you it was a completely different vibe, playing it on stream, narrating for the chat, whatever, scary stuff would happen, but I still wouldn't flinch. But I went back for New Game Plus. Off stream, all the lights off, and I was like, this is like a different vibe. I'm not talking to anybody, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not, so
there's nobody here with me.
There's nobody here with me. I really feel like I'm by myself right now. So it's different.
Nah, man, fuck that. I'm not. I played the first Dead Space. Long story short, my homie used to work at EA, so he got me the game for free when it first came out, the original. And I kept that game for a year and a half before I played that bitch. But I did, and the game's amazing, and it's terrible. I played it on normal, and I was jumping like a little bitch. So it is what it is.
No, I feel you. Them horror games are tough, man.
Man, I haven't played one, so I owe my community a horror game. I got to look in to see what's out there. But
hey, I got a couple options for you, man. I don't know if they're gonna try to do you dirty. But
yes, they will. All right, Ronin, we have landed on the section of the podcast where we're going to drop some information, some advice for some people out there.
Okay.
If you had to share some advice for those out there creating content or starting, what type of advice would you give them?
As far as somebody that says starting, try to go in with a game plan. Of course, fun is always going to be at the aspect of it, because if you're not having fun, it's going to reflect on your work. It's going to reflect on your clips. It's going to reflect on everything you're going to try to put out to social media. Try to go in with a plan. And like I said, that's something I didn't do as a variety streamer. I would just, I'll play what I want. One day, I'm on Bloodborne. The next day, I'm on Fallout. The next day, I'm trying out an MMO. The next day, So try to find at least a niche you want to stick in before you do it, And one of the great things you can do research into your niche, If you're going to be a Fortnite player, watch other Fortnite streamers. What are they doing? What are they, what are they bringing to the table? What can you do? And it's not an emulation thing. You're not doing it to copy them, but you're going to see what are they not doing that I can improve on? What are they not doing that I can, lock in on, so that when you go live, you have a game plan set, And a lot of people also get into their head, well, I can't stream XYZ game because I'm not cracked. I'm not going and dropping 4K damage, 20 kills on Apex. So why would I even bother streaming? It's not about that. It's not. You can be an Apex streamer and not be the best Apex streamer out. But you can get on there, you can have fun. And people, if nothing else, they like to watch the progression. They like to watch you start at the bottom and work your way up. And if something feels good about somebody in your chat who's been watching you from day one, and they say, I see how much better you're getting, because you might not see it yourself. And anybody who plays first-person shooter games knows what skills-based matchmaking is. So the way skill-based matchmaking is set up is that they keep putting you against better people, so you never feel like you're improving. But the whole time, like, you're leagues better than you were a couple of months ago.
Yeah. And chat sees that. They were like, I've seen you miss a whole clip, but now you're hitting your shots. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it locks you in kind of deal. So that's one word of advice, in that regard. Otherwise, that if you can't, and I noticed kind of in the Twitch space, some people have better luck making friends than others. Some, and that's always a kind of, it can be murky water sometimes, because you can never tell anybody's intentions or anything like that, or so on and so forth. So in interest of that, try to keep people around you that either want to see you grow or want to grow with you.
Yes
because it keeps you motivated. It truly does.
100%. Because there's times where, and I always shout out Poochie Gang, Jedi, Vox.
I know some of them folk, gang.
So like anytime we going through it, there's a group chat in Discord. We just type out what's going on and we group work that problem. And because we're all content creators, we don't have to explain what uploading is. We don't have to explain what a stream is. We don't have to explain all that shit. We just can go to the problem.
Exactly.
That is dope, man. I'm not shocked you dropped a bunch of knowledge, but I truly appreciate it. Ronin, if the people want to check out your content, where should they find you at?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on Twitter, because I'm not calling it X.
Right.
Yeah, Twitter is RoninontheStickz. I'm typically on there talking about what I'm playing, or my latest addiction, which is Dungeons and Dragons. I'm kind of locking in over there.
Wait, hold on. Are you playing Baldur's Gate? Or the real D&D?
No, the real D&D now.
Oh.
Baldur's Gate kicked it off.
Man.
Baldur's Gate. So I played Baldur's Gate. I was like, this is, whatever. This is right up my alley. This is up my nerdy alley. So started doing research, started, buying guides. And I actually just this past Thursday, I finished DMing my very first campaign that I wrote myself.
Ronin, what the? Hold on. Time out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. A, you in D&D. B, you GM'd a whole goddamn campaign. Didn't you wrote yourself?
Oh yeah. I've always been a writer, bro. And it's just,
I love this.
I lost it. I lost it at one point. My creativity just packed up and left. And I was like, okay, well, this is what it is now. And D&D really kind of like re-inspired it. So
Oh my
I'm
God,
back
bro.
writing. I'm doing like little kind of like short RPs and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not a fake nerd. Like
I know. Hey,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
People might see my pictures and be like, he don't really
Yeah.
know I'm really like
That's
that.
hey, I'm gonna be one of the first people to admit I didn't know how deep it went. Like
Yeah.
I knew games, I knew anime, but now you get in there. I love that shit. This
Yeah.
is what okay, again, this is what I'm talking about. What we need everybody to start having conversation. And like you said, making friends, especially on the internet, it's a hard task because again, you don't know what people are thinking, you don't know
Right.
if they're being real. But when you do find those people,
You
you
lock
lock
in.
in.
Yeah,
You're just
that's and
like, all right, and
yeah,
they find other people, and that's how you kind of grow the community. But yeah, man, that's
yeah.
crazy. There's a gang of people who I'll just speak for myself. I've been wanting to do D&D since like 8.
Okay.
And so what? Of course, when I was younger, I would let other people's opinions of me
Of
influence
course.
me.
Of course. Of course.
So D&D wasn't for us. So I was
Yep.
like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna play D&D. As I grew up, I started playing just Diablo, just other RPG games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Baldur's Gate 3, man. We're going through our third or second playthrough right now. Is all
Nice.
bards.
Okay.
It's so that game is so good. Now I'm ready to do if I got to do it online or whatever. I want to do a real campaign
Bro,
because
get with me.
what the hell?
Get with me.
That's what I'm about to say. I'm
get
about
get
to.
with me. I can put a one shot together. I got a couple other people who are also, new to it. I
Yes.
kind of got them interested from me always talking about it. I can put together a little one shot, and we can
Hey,
ride it out. You know what I'm saying?
we're gonna talk about because I got some ideas.
Okay. Okay. Big bet. Big bet. Big bet.
That's awesome. So okay, we got to wait. Did you shout out your socials?
Oh well, I started.
Oh,
So
right, my bad.
I did.
No, you good.
Look, I'm always here for nerding out, man. So I
Hell
did
yeah.
X is RoninontheStickz. Instagram right now. What is it? Is Ronin on the gram. I just recently
Okay.
rebranded it. Let me see. TikTok. I'm old, man. Like I said, I'm old. I don't know all my social off the top of my head. I think TikTok is Ronin on the Sticks too. Double check. Ronin on Sticks on TikTok. I haven't posted a lot. I posted like 2 Dragon Dogs joint recently.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I gotta get back into content creation. But otherwise, like,
Mhm.
yeah, like I'm really in the gym a lot now. I'm in the gym and playing D&D. I gotta get back to streaming. So while we're on the subject of socials, I do
Yes.
eventually, once I find a group that really, really, really wants to lock in, I would
Mhm.
love to stream a D&D session. Everybody turn their cams on,
Yes.
Az. Shout out to Asthmatic.
Mhm. Hell yeah.
Az is like, hey, if anybody wants their D&D character drawn, reach out to me. So I'm
What?
like, look, every ad get as little commission list going, get everybody's D&D
Yeah.
character drawn. If
Hell
people aren't
yeah.
comfortable putting their cam on, cool. Put your animated, D&D character on your thing and let's role play. Let's get it popping. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I'm cutting all of this. This is nobody's hearing this except for no, I'm just playing. That was where my head was. I was like, I've seen so many campaigns played on stream.
Yeah.
I seen one. There was people of color, and I was like, it just looked fun as fuck. And I was like, I want to do that, but we'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure you go follow the homie. Awesome as always. You can tell from this conversation, very personable, has conversation for days, and is always there for a good time. Ronin, bro, thank you for doing this. Appreciate it always. I know I said it before, but I'm gonna say it as many times as I can. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure, man. You mind if I shout my people out real quick?
You go ahead.
All right,
for sure.
Really quick for the people listening. Shout out to the Wrestler Squad. Wrestler Squad has been around since like 2014, 15, honestly. Luna Curativa is my ace boogie. She does all my you can usually hear her arguing with me in my chat.
Yes.
But definitely one of my closest, one of my best friends. She does like some of the art for my channel, things like that. Again, I already shouted out as shout out to my D&D group, Glow, Tony, Sav always fusses at me too. My community is just really like a big family. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We busted each other. We praise each other's accomplishments. We uplift each other when everybody's having a bad day. That's why, our group is very tightly knit. So we don't let a lot of new people in per se. Because once you find your found family, it's like, you kind of like, no, these are my people. Leave my people alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, I want to tell you something crazy. I feel like, if we had to like put a picture around this, I feel like you got a house of like the Restless crew.
Right.
And like, we go over to each other's houses and we hang out and we're good like that. But like, we got a home base.
Exactly.
And I feel like like that's how I am with the Poochie gang. Like that's home base, but we know people and we're all cool.
We'll throw a kickback. Somebody's grilling in the back.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Bring the tater salad. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Shout out to the crew. And again, my advice for everyone always is find a network of people that have your best interests at heart.
Absolutely.
I had to cut a lot of people out of my life that either when at first I was only going to be a streamer. They were like, oh, you can't do that. You can't make money. And I was like, that's not helping. So I had to cut them. I was like, I got to let them go.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to see the vision.
Exactly. So don't be afraid. I know. And I say that I do it all the time because I feel like if you're not aligned with me on that level, as far as my wants and things that I want out of life, then you have no purpose in my life. Like,
exactly.
That's crazy. But for some people, I know that's harder, but like set up boundaries at the very least. Like you don't got to tell them, oh, I just got 40 subscribers on YouTube. They're not going to give a fuck. You got to give that information to people who appreciate it. So
absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Water, you know what I'm saying? Water your flowers, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Don't wait to give people their flowers and water the flowers that stay close to you.
Exactly. Couldn't say it better myself. Whoa, man. With that, I'm going to go ahead and shut the podcast down for the day. As always, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. The podcast is everywhere. I watched my podcast on the TV. That shit was crazy. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
That's so cool.
Right? But with that, as always, protect your mental, keep creating content, and I will talk to y'all in the next one. Peace. Thank you for listening this deep into the podcast. I truly do appreciate it. If you enjoy what you heard and you want to get this podcast to a state where I can actually make even more changes in creators' lives, please share the podcast with those that you know they probably can get some enjoyment or some information from the podcast. Head over to upun.buzzsprout.com. That is upun.buzzsprout.com to check out where the podcast is hosted. On that website, there will be a variety of different places where you can actually subscribe to the podcast. And if you do subscribe, I would appreciate a rating and a review on whatever platform you listen to this on. Those ratings and those reviews help the podcast elevate into a higher level so I could become more discoverable in searches and things of that nature. Also, check out the website uploadedandunfiltered.com if you want to check out every guest that's been on the podcast, as well as links to their content as well. Last but not least, if you want to financially support the podcast, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/uploadedandunfiltered. I set up a donation site there. All money that goes there will be directly poured back to the podcast to help for hosting and things of that nature. Again, thank you for listening. This has been a project that I have dreamed about building, and it is here and we are doing it, and I am nothing but excited for its future. Until then, I'll see y'all in the next one.